Hi everybody, so this is really quick, really impromptu, was not planned because this arrived in the mail for me today. So as I've mentioned before, with any time I get art copies or I review them, the ones that I've picked up from work, they weren't sent to me, they're sent to Barnes & Noble and we can just pick them up and read them at our whim. This, however, was actually sent to me personally. I already know what it is, but I was so excited that I'm like, I'm going to unbox it for everybody. So this was sent to me by Random House, and honestly I can't even remember if there was some way I somehow got on their radar involving this. I don't know, maybe I put myself on a mailing list with interest in this book, but I still don't even know how I got on their radar. I'm sure I honestly did something to like be proactive about it, but I can't remember. That probably sounds really bad, but whatever the case, I'm so excited. I'd gotten an email that I was going to be getting this and that, you know, it might take a little bit of time because of the snowmageddon and snowpocalypse, but here it is. So let's get to unboxing. Okay, it's in like an envelope kind of thing. It should actually be pretty easy. Oh damn. Suddenly, the moment I say it's going to be easy, it stops being easy. Hey! Go. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Whoa, this is even more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so this is Dark Eden by Chris Beckett. From what I've gathered, is a science fiction novel. It's already had a lot of success in the UK, so it's now coming to the US, and oh my god, can we talk about like how shiny and gorgeous this cover is? I already knew it was going to be pretty, but I didn't know it was going to be shiny like this. I will also note that this won the 2013 Arthur C. Clarke Award for Best Science Fiction Novel of the Year. And for those of you who don't know, that's a pretty good award to get in sci-fi lit. So, oh, I'm so excited. But seriously, guys, I'm so excited. Alright, that's it for now. I'm going to come back with some brief time travel and do my February book haul. Welcome to my February book haul, in which I will discuss all the books I accumulated starting from February 1st till now. I guess we should just cut the chit chat and get right to it. I'm just going to organise these out by those which I got on my reader and those which I have physical copies of. The first two that I got were free arcs off of Edelweiss, and those are the Romanov Stone and Little Big Horn. The Romanov Stone obviously dealing with the Romanov family line, which is that of Tsar Nicholas II and beyond. We all know the story of Anastasia and stuff, but as far as I know, this isn't dealing with Anastasia. At least the blurb didn't say it was. It has to deal with a young girl who finds out that she's somehow related to Tsar Nicholas II and that whole dynasty, and she's got like a big fabulous jewel or something. I didn't read it that closely. Little Big Horn is obviously dealing with the Battle of Little Big Horn and General Custer, which is part of the big wars America had within itself involving the American Indian population. I'm a huge fan of American Indian literature and history, so this is something that definitely appealed to me. It has to do with a young boy, I think, who becomes General Custer's like aide, and it'll be all from like his point of view, I think. Again, I didn't really read it that closely. I got Cress, which is the third book in the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. I got it in an ebook because I will not get it in physical form until it's in paperback and can match my other two. I got The Witch of Duvar and the Two Clever Fox. Both of these are by Leigh Bardugo. Both of these are short stories accompanying her Grisha trilogy, and to accompany that I also got Siege and Storm, which is the second book in that series. Obviously, again, I would have to wait for it to be in paperback to match my copy of Shadow and Bone. I also got A Novel Death by Judy Culbertson, The Power of Myth and Myths to Live by Joseph Campbell. I got Fuji-san by Randy Taguchi, Mozart in the Jungle, Sex, Drugs and Classical Music by Blair Tyndall, The Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, Why Shakespeare Was Shakespeare by Stanley Wells, and Comparative Mythology, which is really just kind of an essay, a part of a lecture that was done by Joseph Campbell ages ago. Alright, so that's it for everything I got on my reader. Let's go into the actual books I have. I'll start with ones that I actually got for free. 3 of these were strips, one of these is an arc that's not really an arc, and then one of these actually is an arc. All of my strips are actually some form of fantasy this time, so I have Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This is the first book in his, I think it's called Broken Empire trilogy, so you have Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns and Emperor of Thorns. This is a cover which has caught my eye more than once. This was a strip, which means its front cover's missing, so you can't sell it. And so we're allowed to take them, and so I did. It's really dark and really morbid, with which I have no problem. The next two books I picked up are the first two books in the Richard and Kaylin series by Terry Goodkind, so that's Wizard's First Rule and The Stone of Tears. These are high heroic fantasy stories, obviously involving a young man named Richard Cypher who becomes the seeker of truth and teams up with this woman named Kaylin, who's known as a confessor, to defeat an evil guy named Darkenral. I have obviously started Wizard's First Rule. It's going slowly, so I might put it on the back burner. The next book I got is an ARC that's not really an ARC. It says ARC on it, but it's not actually an advanced read because this book was originally published in 2010, so it's kind of old, but it was sent to us as a freebie to promote the fact that its second book is finally coming out, and that is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in his Stormlight Archive series. And as you can see, I am also reading this one. It is kind of going slowly, but it's a good slow. It's a like, I'm digesting all of this kind of slow. And the last book that I got as a freebie that was an ARC is one about which I am extremely excited, and that is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. This was an ARC that got sent to work. I have not started reading it yet, but I probably will. It's in adorable packaging. This is a box that opens, and I love when publishers do things like that. Alright, let's go to books that I actually bought and paid money for. First I have Control by Lydia Kang. I have already done a review on this. I obviously said I bought this for the We Want Control read-a-thon, read-along, that's the word I'm looking for, on Goodreads, and I liked it. It wasn't bad. I've read better. I will admittedly probably not read its sequel. Next, I got Avalon by Mindy Arnett. This book was pitched to me as basically, if you like Firefly, you will love this novel. I love Firefly. I actually recently just power marathon the whole series, plus Serenity. I am a leaf on the wind. When I was sick. This is a science fiction adventure story about a young boy and kind of his ragtag team of people who are stealing, like, technology and stuff because he wants to earn back his parents' ship or something like that. That's sort of what I've gathered. It does strike me as very Firefly-esque. I started reading the first chapter and I went, I'm definitely getting Firefly off of this and I'm liking it. I also picked up Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I already noted that I got Cress on my reader, but after finishing Cinder, I had to wait for this to come out in paperback. It came out at the same time Cress came out in hardback, and once I finished this, I literally just like cannot wait to read Cress. I just had to get Cress and got it on my reader. I was just like, forget it, I'll get a bite in paperback later. But I picked this up and immediately tore through it. Literally bought it, went and started reading. Loving this series so far, Lunar Chronicles. Good stuff. And the last young adult book that I'm going to show you guys is The Kingdom of Little Wounds by Suzanne or Susan Kokel. I think it's Suzanne just by the extra N. This is a historical novel involving a plague in a royal Scandinavian palace, which I thought was really, really cool. I have not yet finished it. I'm still reading this, but I'm loving every second of it, and I'm definitely going to do a review of this. I can see why it was a Prince Honor book. It's brilliant. I have also picked up Three Princes by Ramona Wheeler. This is a fantasy sci-fi novel, I think fantasy really, with the idea that the ancient Egyptian empire never ended, and so now we're into the modern world where this ancient Egyptian empire is still a big powerhouse and it still exists. And I thought that was such a great concept, and I loved the blurb that I read on the inside flap. I said, okay, I have to read this book. It just sounds like so much fun. The next two books are ones that I've already read, one of which I technically kind of already own, but not really. I'll explain it when I get to it. But the first one is Amadeus by Peter Shaffer. This is a copy of the play, which became the film, which is literally my favourite film of all time. If you have not seen Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman, starring Tom Hulce and F. Murray Abraham, you are wrong. You need to go watch this film. That movie to me is perfect. There's literally like nothing wrong with it. But this is the play, which I had read before. It's really, really interesting. It's really stylized, but really cool, and it's a good one to have because there's some amazing speeches and there's so much great drama in here, and Music. Next, I got a new copy of The Inferno by Dante Alighieri. This is translated by Robert Pinsky, but that doesn't matter to me so much as the fact it is a bilingual translation. So if I open it up, I have the Italian in there too, which is what I was really after. I technically have the Longfellow translation, which I have subsequently been told is absolutely horrid, even though it is the most popular. So I guess I can judge it against Pinsky once I finish, but I was really after the Italian in this, because it was the only way I could find it without it costing me like an arm and a leg. And the last book that I got was How to Read Novels Like a Professor by Thomas C. Foster. This is a companion or kind of sequel novel to his first one called How to Read Literature Like a Professor, which I read back in high school and I loved. I already knew most of the information he told me in that book, but it was so well done, so easy to read and so conversational that I went, you know, I really want to read this one because I enjoyed that first one so much. Proof that I'm a massive nerd when, you know, academic texts on literary theory and the art of the narrative are me going, oh yeah, that was so much fun, didn't you love that? Yeah, about that. But that's all for me tonight, you guys, so until next time, cheers.